Hello and welcome to the EduTalk series hosted by Biotone EduPartner School Program, and massage industry experts. With the continued interest and popularity of the EduTalk series, Biotone continues to support virtual learning and building massage community by connecting you with industry experts who share their knowledge and expertise on topics not only for class discussion, but career success. Tonight's expert is Kelli Lene, founder of Time Well Spent Wellness Exchange, a consulting and professional development company serving the wellness industry. She is a certified ambassador of Sacred Stone Medicine and an active massage therapist who's focused her 30-plus year career on integrating timeless traditions with modern clinical skills. Let's listen and learn as Kelli shares her passion of integrating ancient healing traditions into contemporary practice settings, honorably and effectively. She'll discuss expanding client well-being through social wellness trends and ancient healing traditions. She'll discuss the impact of social wellness trends, such as wellness sanctuaries, urban bathhouses, and retreat opportunities. Be inspired to elevate your client experiences with practical practice ideas using traditional wisdom and today's technology. I know Kelli has a lot to get to. So again, please be sure your video is off and you are muted. And welcome, Kelli. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'd like to say to everyone that you are able to chat questions and comments to Kelli, which she will answer at the end. And with that, Kelli, I'm turning it over to you. Thank you again. And I will see you at the end of your presentation.
Thank you. Well, as always, it's so good to be with y'all. I wish we were in a room together, especially when I see so many familiar names. Gosh, thank you for being here and supporting our profession. I see so many of our other industry experts here. So I want to go ahead and start sharing the video because, as always, I have way more information than I have time. And I want to make sure that we get that. Did I get you? Oh, there we go. All right, so I have been with y'all many times talking about the importance of honoring these ancient traditions, these indigenous inspired traditions that give us an opportunity to go deeper into our practices and personally into our own personal lives and development. And today we're going to specifically talk about connection. That is the root of this current trend that's been building over the last couple of years, which is social wellness or community wellness. It is the pendulum shift back from what we had to do during COVID, where everybody was very isolated and did whatever practices they could to support their wellness and their well-being, basically in solo. So, but we can see that because of some of the sizes of some of the enterprises that are coming out, the investment that went into and the planning that went into some of these expressions of social wellness, that this trend was actually starting even before that. So we want to get into it, talk about some of the history where our need comes from for this connection, and get into some of the expressions of how that is happening in our current profession, and then also how you can translate some of these into your own treatment room, into your own life. But basically, it's all about connecting deeper with your work and with your clients and their journey. So I'm going to be a little clumsy on this because it's not something I do every day, but knowing that since the beginning of time, we have been seeking wellness through various ways. Doesn't matter what continent, who takes the credit for it. There's so much overlapping wisdom between all of these things. So when you see like the word spa itself, what we use a lot, we credit the Romans with the baths, the sanitation through or health through awa. So that's obviously a big part of it. The roots of what we're talking about is going to be what we've been talking about at spa. And I have been a mudslinger for 35 years, professional mudslinger. I was a mudslinger way before that, growing up. This is how I grew up, with these kind of plant medicines, uh, the earth itself, very much earth-based traditions that I grew up with. So when we see the Roman baths, and the name spa actually comes from that. And we look at the Egyptians, they were huge into touch therapies, but they were also really big into mineral therapy, the muds. So I like to give them some credit. Tibetan sound baths were some of the first things I ever heard about. Turns out that that vibrational therapy is shared through all cultures, all continents. We talk about Ayurvedic and the fire. I've been playing with heat and contrast because I have an upcoming retreat that I'm going to be doing for massage therapists. And we're going to be doing a lot with fire and ice. That's the name of the retreat. So it's really been heavy on that. Of course, chakras and all those kind of things. The Japanese tradition of mineral baths is huge. It's well known. I can't wait. I'm supposed to maybe go over there next year and do some teaching. I will be taking a lot of time just to go and experience all of their thermal baths. I just can't wait. So it's on my bucket list. This last year, I got to actually go to an authentic Turkish hamam. I've been to a Russian bathhouse. I've been to uh, some of the other Nordic based hot and cold treatment stuff. But the hammam was beautiful. It's a beautiful tradition, highly trained people that just make it look effortless. And again, those contrast therapies. The Mayan and Aztec herbal rituals, it's something that I trained with in Belize. We hear a lot about some of the mind altering ones, but even the cacao ceremonies, herbal baths, some of the soaking traditions, those are all really important to me and is something that I've been practicing for a very long time. I study a lot with the North American indigenous, and what they also, most of them share is the medicine wheel, which is about balance. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then the Celtic earth-based, just using the Celtics as an example. So those traditions have been around since forever. What a lot of them have in common is that they were practiced in community, not in a soloist situation. So that need to connect is as it's as old as memory and before written. So those are the things I want us to all look at, that this isn't just about one branch of wisdom. It is global. It is a human need to connect. And I have a lot of conversations. I have some clients that are, there it is. I have some clients that are early childhood development, and we often talk about some of where we're at with the children and what happened during COVID and that need for connection. And then adults who, because of the lack of connection, settled for attention instead of connection. And so that's why we saw such an uptick in people who were on social media platforms, putting themselves out there, sometimes in dangerous and ridiculous situations, just so they could feel like they were some semblance of connection. So we're talking about this really deep-rooted need to connect with others and with ourselves and our wellness. So as a therapist, the ability to really get in there and start working with your client in a deeper way. I have seen some things out there where they're trying to sell online courses for therapists, touch therapists, to become mental therapists in addition to, and I think it's a dangerous thing to do that, but just to be able to connect deeper, to put people at ease, to be able to hold that safe space for them and for yourself, and get to witness what happens. Those are the kinds of things that I'm talking about. So I'm talking about supporting wellness, not treating disease, dysfunction, distortion. It's about supporting wellness and well-being. So we talked about pre-pandemic. It was a much more organic system to be in community. You had classes, you had yoga classes, you had meditation classes. All that kind of went away, but just that organic family reunions, ceremonies that involved food and fun. Uh, People would gather at thermal springs and at rivers, and then the bathhouses, which have always existed in some of the urban areas. They were doing well even before COVID. So we had that. It just seemed more organic and less dangerous. And then, of course, the pandemic made it feel dangerous. But I remember being down in Belize, and we were at one of the rivers. It's a clean river, and we saw the women down there in their Mayan women that were down in their underwear, and they were in the river, and they were doing laundry together. They were all in the river beating the sheets and clothes with the rocks and with their soaps. And it was such a joyous experience. So I thought you could turn anything into a different kind of experience with the attitude of you're together. And even if you're doing chores, it's going to be fun. So that was one thing that's always stuck with me is that sense of their joy just being together. Let's see. Sorry, I told you I was okay. So then we had this pendulum shift after pandemic. And I mentioned before that some of these trends I've been tracking have involved some massive investments, money, time, resources. We've got new bathhouses showing up in urban areas, very nice, very sleek, but very community based still, where they have day rates and hourly rates, and they want people to come in. So they're serving the neighborhoods in which they're in. They are also serving what we call wellness travel tourists. So people are still traveling again. We got back out and was really hungry for adventure, but with a little bit of a twist that had started before a pandemic, what really is showing up now is that people want to still travel and have those experiences, but they want also the ability to grow, to relax, to restore, to rejuvenate, but grow. And so that's what we're seeing now happening is a lot of the spa resorts are doing like some of the US resorts have been doing, which adding a lot more classes, adding a lot more opportunity to explore your own needs, to balance out your wellness journey. And so we're seeing that, like I said, new bathhouses, revamping spa resorts to be less about luxury, although they're very luxurious, and more about the practical side of incorporating things into your own life in a day in, day out way, meeting that need of that global wellness tourism. Within our own area, I mean, if you live in an area that has a lot of tourism, it still is something that you can approach, that you can look at in a way that you can dip into that well. And so I encourage you to do that. One of my latest experiences, which it's a terrible profession when you have to do these things for work, but there's a place in Dallas, actually Colony, that's called World Springs. And I heard about it. It had been open for about 4 months when I heard about it. And I immediately told my husband, we are going now, soon, find an excuse. So we drove down there, and what it is, and I encourage you to look it up. They're opening another one in Dubai right now, but it is acres and acres outdoors of 40 plus different hot tubs, different sizes, different temperatures, different mineral content. Each one is to uniquely mimic a mineral thermal spot somewhere in the world, and they'll tell you where it is. You have Asiatic, we have North American, South American, European. Uh, they're all listed, what they are, what the mineral content is, and what the temperature is. So you can rent by time. So it's you and the community at large. And I think it was 3 hours. And I thought, well, we'll do a couple hours and we'll be fine. 3 hours. They had to drag me out of that place kicking and screaming. I wanted to stay. It was so much fun experiencing the different temperatures, the different mineral content. They had a Dead Sea pool that was just so cool. You could float just like at the Dead Sea. It was one of the biggest pools they had. And just lay there and look up at the sky and just really enjoy that. They also had a full bar. I'm just going to mention that. And food that you could be brought to you. They had lots of staff, beautiful fully stocked locker rooms. It was clothing, not clothing optional. So, and you could rent a robe if you didn't remember to bring one. They also had intermittently through there the cold plunge pools that were, again, different temperatures. And then they had several different kinds of saunas that were set out there. And they were designed for you to not have to yourself. They were larger. So there was a real sense of community. I saw lots and lots of course, girl parties, but there was guy parties, which I love the fact that they would decide on a Saturday to go and hang out at the hot springs. And there was, you could tell there was families. Yeah, I think it's 18 years and older, so no kids, but really respectful. Wasn't not a lot of shenanigans, and which I know has been a problem in some places. People turning it into a party atmosphere instead of a relaxation. But it was really wonderful. If you get a chance to do one of these, it really is a great experience. And the fact that I got to try so many different mineral contents and temperatures and, landscaping was beautiful. It's a great place. And the people watching, wonderful. They also have a spa there, and I didn't have a chance to do it, but I will go back. I will do it. I have told everyone about it. I really believe that it's a great opportunity for us to really encompass some of that community wellness, um, and it's just a real joy. And I love this trend. I love that we're going this direction. You can't tell. Some of the bathhouses, I've been to some of the newer ones. I was in New York this summer. I went to an older one that has been revamped. It still has kind of that sitting in the saunas, and then some of the newer ones that were in Manhattan that were servicing definitely a younger neighborhood vibe. So really, really well done. They all have additional spa services available, but they really are emphasizing. In fact, I saw one, their marquee literally said a social health club. So they're really promoting that. They're providing classes and opportunities for people to meet each other and maybe find their tribe. In a big city, that's really important. So that was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that. The other thing we're seeing it come out now is, and you're seeing it everywhere, is retreat centers. Um, my husband and I just built one at Lake Eufaula in Oklahoma, and we are not the only ones. There are so many out there. Some are huge, and some are more boutique like ours. Ours is definitely on the smaller side. We're more interested in hosting smaller retreats, more intimate retreats. But there's some really, really great ones that have been either revamped from old spa resorts, but now they are retreat centers, or they've been built fresh and new as retreat centers. So we're seeing those pop up all over the country. And again, it's really exciting that you don't have to go overseas or do the big travel in order to experience that. All right, shift to supporting. One of the things that we're seeing as we're talking about connection, the connections, like I said, are multi-level. They're, connections with yourself, connections with your wellness journey, connections with our clients, connecting with other people. Those are all. Uh, the traditional definition of the difference between wellness and well-being is some type of spiritual path. It doesn't have to be a religion, but there's some belief in something bigger than you and greater than you. So when we talk about that, we want to talk about the difference between traditional spa, which has the base of it. I'm going to say Western spa. Uh, I've been doing spa work forever. I've been teaching it. I taught it for Biotone for 10 years, taught for another manufacturer before then. Um, so I'm a big proponent of it. And as it evolves, I've still been pretty excited about it. But one of the things I've always said that no matter what, how the spa brand has been hijacked by others, including car washes, spa has always meant health, and it's always meant nurturing to me. And so that's not a big stretch when we're going into the next thing, but I think we're going to see the whole spa idea being rebranded into more of a wellness journey support for people's wellness and well-being. And so for a long time now, because I do so much more than just touch therapy, I have been referring to myself as a wellness practitioner because that's what I do. I support wellness. And I have a journey that is, if you can't tell, been many, many, many decades. And through my own research, my own search for wellness and well-being, have met some remarkable people, some remarkable mentors, and been able to translate that into my treatment room. So I'm going to take the basics that I've always considered are the basic skills and approaches that are in spa, that we call spa, but also we share with the whole wellness journey. First of all, for a lot of us, that means touch therapy. Different kinds of touch therapy, it's just touch therapy. Another component that really needs to be showed up somehow is hydrotherapy. I don't care if it's a wet room or if it's hot, moist towels that you're incorporating in there. We need to have some kind of sense of that moist, nurturing, warmth, or cold that we're seeing. And so hydrotherapy is really important to us. Foot baths. I love foot baths. I love that we can provide those foot soaks and all kinds of things like that. So it doesn't have to be something that is expensive or equipment based. And then pelotherapy, which is the use of muds, and mineral therapy. I use stones in that. So that's really important component of what we're talking about. Plant therapy, another huge one. We're talking about herbal therapy. We're talking about aromatherapy, thalassotherapy. If we're talking about using seaweeds, that's a plant therapy. If you're talking about thalassotherapy, whenever it's referring to seawater, then I tend to put it in the mineral therapy. And then now what we have, which is kind of new since when in the old days when I started teaching this, was energetic awareness and connection. So much has come out about our connection to vibration and the different lights. We've got so many different light therapies now that are coming out. The importance of vibration in different ways. A lot of us were trained in the old Traeger approach with vibrational rhythmic movement. There's different traditions along with that. And now we have the addition of drumming and the sound bowls and crystal bowls. And it's really a lovely way to start kind of exploring that energetic connection. So those are the basic ones. I'd like to see anybody who really wants to get into this to start. If you don't have a training, look at it, evaluate what you're comfortable with, what your location, your facilities will support, and try to find a way to introduce your clients to an array of these type of treatments. Oops. Okay, there we go. All right, so talking about the rebranding of the spa party. I have given lots of classes on spa parties. I love them. I think they're so much fun. They're a great way to celebrate. Excuse me. And but unfortunately, just like some of us in some of our markets, massage has been hijacked. I think spa has as well. So I still believe in the joyous things. Um, the joyous things, there should be a chance to just celebrate and be happy and just sling mud. But for those of us who are on this journey, there's a chance that we can take that same basic setup and we can start building community through it. So I certainly still do a lot of consulting on that type of thing, open houses, that kind of thing. But now we're seeing more and more they want not just facials. They actually want to know how to the marma points of the face or how to massage their own face, how to relieve stress in that, especially when we really got into the vagus nerve big time during the pandemic because of the impact of wearing masks all the time. And just the discovery of how important Vegas is. So those kind of things where we can do that. So we're rebranding that spa parties as more of retreats or wellness events. So it's really important that when you do that evaluation of what kind of skills you have and what your presentations are, or what your gifts are that you want to bring to this trend, that you also collaborate with other wellness practitioners. I have been to a lot of health fairs and wellness events because I am looking for collaborators in my own area. Nationwide, we have so many gifted, brilliant people. and I want to collaborate with them as well. But for some situations in some areas, especially if you're working out of your own space that's local, to be able to collaborate with people that don't have to travel and don't have a lot of expenses, that will also co mingle with you in the marketing side of it. That could be a really valuable ally to have. So, really looking at those other wellness practitioners who can enhance what you want to provide, and it's more fun. I so better enjoy co-teaching with somebody than I do on my own. I really really enjoy learning from others while they're teaching. So that's my favorite thing. We also want to talk about facilitate opportunities of community through self-caring education. So again, we're talking about connection with themselves, connection with their journey, and connecting with you in a different way. And that's bringing forward opportunities for them to learn through other speakers, to sponsor some energy movement. It doesn't have to be the full, there's intro Tai Chi. There's all kinds of different things now that we're doing, that we're exploring, that there's practitioners coming forward that you can invite or get certified yourself. Breath work, you're seeing that everywhere. It's definitely important. It's always been important, but now we're learning new science about different ways that you can impact your own system through how you mindfully breathe, including relaxation, but also how to relieve anxiety. So these are great things to work with kids and teenagers and adults. There's nobody who doesn't need that. Crystals, I'm a stone walker. That's what my designation is, Inyan Mani, through stone medicine. And so those are really important to me, but crystals have just taken off again as far as everybody's interested in it. Everybody's curious about it. Of course, my treatment room, my home, everything, the retreat center, they're full of stones and different kinds of stones and fossils and that kind of thing. So, you know, having somebody come in, or you, if that is your gift, bringing those in, talking about some of the benefits of those and what generates interest for us, what it generates a connection with an actual stone and a plant, herbal medicines, herbal traditions that can support us in wellness. Those are great classes to offer or opportunities for people to explore. Um, Self-care touch, learning how to take care of yourself, learning how to work uh, with core problems like I teach a lot of classes, believe it or not, in abdominal massage, the diaphragm, the pelvic floor, those kind of things. So those are things that women at all ages and men can use more information about. Flowing, movement therapies, where they're learning to move in more generous ways, more uh, less stress, less work at it. And then just general wellness practices, just really look for people in your own community or look for people among your clientele that already has a lot of knowledge or certified in things. Really look at opportunities to collaborate with them and to offer what people are curious about, um, beyond what we've been doing for a while. Oh, did I go backwards? How about forward? There we go. Okay, so now we're going to talk about taking it to the next level, though. That is about connecting with yourself, your own journey, even you as a therapist and a client, connecting in a different way. That could be done in a lot of different ways. Um, when they come to these classes, they get to meet people who are on similar paths and that they can learn to resonate. So that's possible as well. But being able to expand those opportunities so that people can connect with each other while they're learning some of these things. So if you have the space, or again, you can collaborate with somebody. I just listed some things that I've seen out there that I've done myself and that I find really successful. So field trips to World Springs, if you're in that area, arrange for a communal opportunity to explore that, where people may be uncomfortable trying to do that on their own. Um, Hot springs that are near you. I grew up in West Texas, so in Oklahoma, and in West Texas, near the Mexican border, we have in the Rio Grande, there are natural hot springs as there is a lot of rivers. So it was very casual. There's no building, you just go find it, you know about it, you ride your horses in or you hike in, and those kind of things. Having those kind of field trips would be a wonderful chance to have that connection with the larger tribe. Um, and I know there's a lot of hiking groups now. I've noticed during the pandemic and afterwards that there was a lot of women's and adults hiking groups. So things that I would not be comfortable trying on my own, certainly would love that have that support of a community. And from there, you can hook in with somebody who runs those kind of hiking things, and you can do a collaboration with them. And do it for yourself. Get out in nature. We have learned so much. I know the Japanese were the first that I really saw formalize this whole idea of forest therapy or ecotherapy. When I was down in Belize, that's what we were talking about. It was called the ecotherapy um, experience. So being out in nature in a way that's safe but adventurous is so good for everything about you, your mind, your body, and your soul. So these are opportunities that you can work with that. Um, Communal sound and touch therapies. Again, I think during COVID is when the first time I really heard about yo massage or, we doing couples massage. I've always done couples massage classes, but being able to expand that beyond that to where you learn how to work on each other, work on yourself, experience what it is to give as well as to receive. Um, and have everybody laid out, like, one of the retreats that's coming up that we're gonna be doing for spring, is all around vibration and breath. So, we'll actually be able to lay, in meditation and have that sound therapy, um, provided for us, either on our body or all over around us. In fact, combining a float, if you've ever done a big group float, you just use basically floaties and the float things to get everybody in there. And then you play sound bowls and you have other kinds of vibrational work in there. And so it's water, you're floating, you get the sound therapy, and you're getting a guided meditation. It is awesome. It's a lot of fun. And you can have a lot of people experience that at one time, depending on the size of your pool. We're definitely going to be playing with that out at our retreat center because we have a pool available. So those kind of things. Breath work can be done with others along with meditation, either singularly or guided. I love guided meditation. It's one of my favorite things, and I've studied that for quite a while. Rituals and ceremonies, as long as whether it's your tradition or it's somebody else's tradition, as long as it's done with respect, people enjoy that. They're curious about it. They want to experience that. Um, Ojo Caliente is one of my favorite places. When I first started doing consulting, my actually, my specialty is more rustic hot springs resorts, more active resorts. So whether it's in Texas or I did one in Montana, Ojo Caliente is in New Mexico. It's an old historic hot springs. It's since been bought out by a very large entity, as has a lot of them, but they maintain the historical side of it. And they actually have a clay in Ojo. They have an actual running clay fountain, and you just go up there and you put clay, you grab arms full of it, hands full of it, you put it all over yourself, and then you bake in the sun. It's absolutely a wonderful experience, and there is no reason that you can't bring clay in as long as you've got all your surfaces protected. And let people play with it. Let childlike. And I've used different colored clays. We did a lot with the biotone has different muds and they're different colors. And we would paint on each other and symbols and just really have a great time. It's a great photo op, by the way. It's a lot of fun. Dry room treatments, I really love these. I can do a whole room of people with aromatherapy wraps, which is really simple dry brushing, a specific aromatherapy combo, and then you wrap them up, you swaddle them, and then they can experience either guided meditation or quiet stillness or music. And it's a great way to bring people together in a very simple way. Um, we do a lot of herbal therapies, but I do them as high tea. So I really love the idea of either bathing in herbs or drinking them or eating them. So a lot of my stuff it's really funny. People are so used to these very serious herbal traditional training, and we have high teas and we have baths and we have water fights. So there you go. And I can see already I've got so much more information than what y'all need, but we're almost at the end. So I hope I've given you some ideas about what you can do with this. I did want to put this up here. It's in your stuff. These are our retreats that we are sponsoring. They are based on the seasons, about letting people experience the gifts of each season and the challenges of each season. And so you can see the first one is fire and ice. That's contrast, heat and cold, coming up in January. And then profound breath, which is for spring. That's when we have Martha Johnson. Some of you may have met her. She is a therapist. She also is certified to teach sound bowl. And so she's going to do a sound bowl. We're going to have some specific breath work classes. And we're also going to be learning, because Martha's also a gifted, beautiful, she plays the Native American flute, and she swears she can teach all of us to do intro improvisational flute within 30 minutes. So we're going to challenge her on that. And it's really good for your breath, and it's really good. It's calming, and that you're creating those vibrations that are calming to your system. So we definitely want to know how to do that. So that's just giving you an idea how we plan these. Hearts on Fire, we have an artist coming in who's going to teach us how to do creative painting without having to have skill, but just passion. So we're looking at that. And then our fall is Grounded in Gratitude. And it's going to be a lot of connecting with Mother Earth and connecting with nature. And so that one's kind of going to be, these are all the retreats I would want to go to. So that's what I created. And each one has a different, I call them wisdom keepers, people who are coming in who are experts at things I am not expert at. That just kind of gives you an idea. I know we're running out of time, but every one of our retreats, and the reason I'm talking about retreats, because I have a lot of people who are planning on coming to one of my retreats to learn how to do these. These are simply 3-day retreats. They start at the middle of the day on the first day, and they end at the middle of the day at the next one. So if anybody's driving in, they can do it within that day. But each one of them we have hit on in some way. All these different things. We're going to be using stones. We have herbal, we have aromatherapy, we do movement, guided meditation, therapeutic play, get ready to sling some mud, ecotherapy, traditional healing practices, because that's something that's very important to me. Well-being circles. We're going to include some journaling. I'll have guest wisdom speakers, and then breath work and sound therapy. We're going to have all of that, but they're all designed so that there are core activities we want everybody to do. But then there's going to be a whole lot of them that are just optional. If you just want to go and find a quiet place in the woods, or we have quiet rooms within our retreat center, then you just go and do that. It's for those of us who are type 1 and we just want to just go have fun and do everything. And then those who just need a little less peopling. So we're trying to do that. That's just an example of what we're doing. So I'm going to, I think on the other one, I gave you my email, and also there's a Facebook page for the Wellness Walkers retreats. A wellness walker, by the way, is anyone who is on the journey of their own, or supporting others on theirs. And so it's not just touch therapists. So it's an opportunity, if you come to one of these, to really learn from other people, to create those collaborators if you want to. But I enjoy hearing the perspectives. My husband in particular does martial arts. He's been doing martial arts forever. He's 3rd degree black belt Aikido. But for him and I to talk about energy and how energy moves, it's such a joy, because he has a different way that he learned it, but it's all the same. So like next winter, we're doing one on feng shui, which is about how energy moves through. And so it's a great opportunity for people to learn from both him. He's going to be doing some movement therapies and self-defense, and I'm going to be doing, and then we have somebody coming in to teach the feng shui. We got some other people teaching Ayurvedic. There's just a lot of fun people out there that I've always wanted to collaborate, and this is my excuse to do that. And I'm not the only one. If you'll notice, a lot of CEU providers are creating retreats where you're going overseas and visiting great places like Italy. I think James Wozinski is doing that. And then you're seeing other people like, the author of Anatomy Train. I noticed he's doing a general retreat for, I think it's When the Body Speaks. And it's not just for therapists, it's for everybody. And he's doing it at a retreat center. And so I love that. So you don't have to just trust me, just look around and you'll see that there's a lot of people doing something very similar or creatively turning it into their own expression. And so I hope I gave you some things to think about. I hope I didn't give you too much, but I'm going to turn it back for questions. And Donnell, again, you were so gracious to put all this together for us, and we so appreciate you and the support that Biotone gives us as professionals.
Well, thank you, and great information shared. Uh, I'd love it if you would repeat the name of the spa you went to in, I think you said Dallas,
World Springs.
World Springs. And also the name of the Facebook group again for wellness walkers.
Wellness Walker Retreats.
And what I'd like to mention to folks is tomorrow you will receive a follow-up email, which will include tonight's recording, a copy of Kelli's PowerPoint, and her contact information, which will include the Facebook link for the Wellness Walker retreats. Um, So keep an eye out in your inbox. By tomorrow afternoon, you should receive that. If you do not see it, please check your junk or your spam folder. As often it ends up there. And I've included links to Kelli's past Edu Talks, which all tie into this theme that she's sharing with us tonight. So let's get to some chats. How much of this do you need to be certified in so you can teach it at a retreat? Or do you even need to be certified?
Oh, I have a note thing. Let me pull this up. That's a great question, and I meant to address it. So whoever asked that, thank you so much for keeping me
Patrice.
on track. Hang on, I'm getting to it. Okay, here it is. I just got so excited talking. So this kind of thing is really interesting, and that's a great question, is that I think for some of these things, you just really have to be authentic in your pursuit of your own wellness. So I would expect someone who's going to teach something to have actually learned it from somebody and practiced it, have experience in it before they try to share it with somebody else. But most important to be authentic about what your experience is. Like if I just happen to love something and no one's ever mentored me and I don't have much experience on it, I'm just going to say we're going to play with this together. So I don't think you have to be certified, but if there is a certification for something, and it's something that you're comfortable with, and it's an honest one, I think that helps people. That helps people decide how they want to spend their money and their time. So I have had a lot of people that have asked me for my bio before they would sign up for a retreat, and I'm happy to give that to them. So I do think that experience counts, being mentored counts, having the education that may or may not lead to a certification, because some of the things we do as wellness practices, they don't have a formalized training. Um, like some of the things that I do, I am charged to share it as it has been shared with me. So it happens a lot in some of the indigenous things where an elder has taught me. I have permission to share it with others, but I have to share it just exactly the way I was taught it. So there's no certification. There's just a covenant that I have. So I just want to share this with you real quick. This is from when I was training down in Belize, the elder program they had down there, the Kunandera program. When they were looking at who was a good candidate for learning this kind of thing, this indigenous or these ancient traditions and these wellness support traditions, they were looking for someone, and I love this, and I've carried it with me all these years, someone who has a great love of people. people who have someone who has a great sense of humor. You're going to need it, and someone who is absolutely confident, but also absolutely humble, who walks in humility, which is not a contradiction if you understand that. And then has a knowing that goes beyond learning. So if that speaks to you, just think about that. So they as people have shared with me, I share with others. It's really, I do not create anything. I may come up with a twist on how to present it, but um, I did not invent anything. So that's why I can have absolute confidence in it, because it came from someone else or something else. That's also why I have absolute humility about it, because it has nothing to do with me and my ego. So anyway, that was a great question. I hope I answered it.
And we still have time for more questions or comments. And I recently was in Budapest, which I didn't know before going that communal um, thermal spas were such a big thing there. And being used to what I've seen in the US, you expect separate men and women. You don't expect it to the scale. And these are hundreds of years old. And everyone just sees it's a part of their day. It seems that this is where you meet up with friends. This is where you go. They had the cold plunge, the steam, varying temperatures of hot pools, a big swimming pool. So that was really an experience. And then when I was leaving, we walked by some um, almost like a hospital room where you have the curtains up. They had massage beds and you could get a massage. But it wasn't, the luxury spa environment. It was really, to me, very therapeutic the way it's presented. You are there to feel better. You are there to take care of yourself. And that was a lovely experience. I could have spent every day there when I was there. But I don't think there's anything really like that in the US, is there? That is, I mean, I can think of Glenwood Hot Springs in Colorado. That's been around for hundreds of years. But maybe it was that it was not in the US that it felt so exotic and different and that it is a part of their culture. And Mark is saying, I'm so lucky to live so close to Bath County, Virginia. We have Jefferson pools.
Yes,
And
Mark, you are.
I know
When
I
we
love hot springs here in Florida. People might think I'm crazy, but I mean, really, other cultures have embraced it for hundreds of years, as you've pointed out, and many different therapies. And I think it's a great suggestion that you look around and see who and what's available in your areas for enhancing your client's experience when they come for a massage. I mean, even starting with a foot bath, as you suggested. Um, Herbal tea at the end of it. I mean, it seems like you can really enhance what you're doing with some of the ideas you've shared tonight. And again, anyone, I'm not sure if Felicia is still on, but she was I had seen on Facebook she was looking into sound and vibration therapy. It might have been a retreat coming up this weekend, or it might have happened. Mark also said we have a Korean spa in Northern Virginia as well.
Now he's
And
just bragging. He's just bragging now.
well, what would be the difference with a Korean spa?
They're huge on exfoliation if anybody's ever been to one. It depends. They're all over the United States. We love them. They are a communal in a lot of ways, but they're big on that exfoliation. Just like a Russian spa versus a Turkish bathhouse.
Um,
Oh
Audrey
yeah,
is is saying, I'm within 3 to 4 hours of both Steamboat Springs and Saratoga, Wyoming. Both have natural hot springs. Have been wanting to do a massage yoga retreat at one of them. So thank you for
Oh, that'd be
inspiration to
wonderful.
actually do it. And Felicia, sound healing training this weekend, 3 days on a bunch of different instruments. Excited to apply what I learned with the sound healing. So to incorporate that into her practice or treatments and benefit for herself. Mark is saying 2 spas, King Spa and Spa World, which I guess are both in Virginia as well. So,
Mark walks the walk for sure. He does
wow,
not, he takes advantage of those resources. And Felicia, I'm so glad, um, she's like me. We never quit learning. There's always something new to look at,
that's so
to learn.
true. And as you say, um, spa is almost redefining itself. It's not the um, high-end luxury massage that you would get. It's really branching out to incorporate so much more for a client's well-being. And it sounds great. I hope those ideas spread further. Uh,
Please, please.
Now, let's go back to the muds. And you were saying with the biotone muds, and they're in different colors. How does that work if someone doesn't have a wet room?
Well, actually, the biotone muds are designed to be used in a dry room. They are easy to apply and they're easy to remove. So I have done them in spa parties around hot springs and pool parties and stuff where you just use a shower or even a hose to rinse them off. They're that easy to get off. But in your own treatment room, just having a supply, I've done it with as little as 6, but I always like to have a dozen warm, wet towels, and it just comes off like melted butter. I've even layered an herbal wrap on top of them. And so then when you take the herbal wrap off, there's a lot of it comes off with it. So it's a very easy product to use. It's practically takes care of itself. It never dries out. So you don't have to worry about some of the organic muds you have to worry about. If once they dry out, you have to basically scrape them off. So these are lovely and they work really well. I can honestly say I have taken a jar full of it into a steam room and covered myself in mud and sat on a towel and just enjoyed that experience. So it's very easy to work with. It comes off in a shower or with warm towels very easily.
Oh, it sounds fabulous. Felicia responded as well. Vibrational healing is so amazing. It's become a big part of my personal wellness. And Mark is saying, I have incorporated that technique with cupping too.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the mud tech.
Yeah. You can use the
Okay.
muds as a massage medium. Jean did them that way. Yes. I've used them
Oh,
with warm stones and everything. But I will say again, Felicia's talking about something she's reiterating something we were talking about is she is very excited about the vibrational therapies. Felicia's been around. I don't want to say this the wrong way, but around for a while. She's one of our most experienced industry experts. And as she's getting excited about it, then she will be able to share that with others. And I know she will because she's very generous with that. And so that's really the key I want to say about being authentic when you're presenting some of these things. You need to do it because you're excited about it and you're incorporating it in your own life, that you have your own experiences with it. And then it comes across as authentic.
all right. Well, I haven't seen any other chats or questions. I mean, comments or questions come in. Again, please, everyone, um, check the follow-up email tomorrow. It will have, again, Kelli's contact information, past presentations that she's done. And also, we have 2 EduTalks left for the rest of 2024. It's crazy. December 3rd, you are all invited to Taya Countryman. Structural relief therapy reveals the cause of carpal tunnel syndrome. And the RSV page will be up tomorrow. December 10th, we close out the year with Scott Raymond, and maybe some of you saw him at AMTA National. He'll present on how posture affects TMJ dysfunction. So we have some great talks ending the year. Thank you, Kelly, for your talk to end November and lead us into a very thankful holiday. And gosh, and we have a great 2025. So keep looking for invites in your inbox. You can also visit biotone.com. Under the EduTalk tab, you can RSVP there for the massage EduTalk series or the EduTalk diabetes series, and also visit the EduTalk archive libraries. The massage EduTalk series began in July 2020, so there's a wealth of information there. And the EduTalk diabetes series began in May 2023, and some great presenters from the massage industry there addressing diabetes for your clients, family, and friends. Many thanks to you, Kelly. And Mark is saying stones, mud, cupping, all good stuff.
Yes, it is.
And I hope everybody's inspired. And please join us again, and happy holidays to you all. Take care and watch your inbox. Okay, thank you, Kelly. Take care, everyone. Bye.